Well, how do you like my new light from the Dollar Tree store? I love these things. The technology that's in these things, unbelievable for $1. Unbelievable. This thing's got several modes. That's the best mode, off. There's a high-speed flicker, medium. That will put you in some kind of state, and in the slow one. Anyway, get rid of that stuff. What I want to show you today is a new old radio I got. Old in that this radio has been out for many years. And Tecsun has a whole line. One thing about Tecsun, they got a whole line of radios that are under $100. And like this one, it's under $50. This radio is only $40 on Amazon right now. And I just got it this weekend. Like I say, it's brand new. And I got it for $40. And so we're going to look at this Tecsun Pl-606 versus, in a not a direct comparison, but just kind of a, I'm going to use this other radio if I can get it out of the pouch. It comes with a nice pouch. That's one thing nice about it. Is the Tecsun Pl-380, which sells for $15 more. So $40, $45. And let me get the box out of the way here and show you the radio. So here's the radio. Here's the 660. A slightly smaller display. Although I think the letter, the numbering and stuff is still about the same. We just maybe have less information on the display. So we're going to just kind of play with these two. I just got this one in. I haven't played with it too much. It's very, very similar to the 380. So we're going to put 380 aside here for a moment. And normally what I do in my reviews is I kick the camera. I do that all the time. Is I use this report card system. Well, today I'm not going to do that. Today you're going to be bored to death with me just learning what this radio is about. Like I say, I just got this radio Friday, yeah. And only thing I've done is I installed some batteries and I turned it on to see if it received, in case I had to send it back, which it did. And that's all I've done. So we're going to kind of explore this radio together, kind of show you what I do when I get a new radio. First of all, did I say again? I can't believe I'm back in that habit. I thought I got rid of that. Anyway, here's the carrying case or storage case it comes with. Little crushed velvet case compared to the Pl-380. Now, I got the Pl-380 used, so I didn't get it new. So I wouldn't guarantee that the ones you buy today would come with that case. Well, let me see if I can check. Stand by. I told you this is going to be boring. Please stand by for a second. I'm going to check Amazon and see if they tell me. Let's look at the pictures. It's not looking good. They have 5 pictures on Amazon, and none of them show a carrying case. And the listing says accessories, earphone, external antenna, 1 carrying case, pouch it said. Now I'm guessing, even though they don't have any pictures, that maybe the ones that they sell now, let me get back to my camera, come with a pouch, not what I consider a case. I don't consider this a pouch, although you could. So to me that's an unknown. I don't know. So it comes with this. It comes with an external antenna, just like it said that the 380 comes with, which is and we take it out of the bag here. You know, it's kind of like an unboxing, but I hate unboxings, so it's not an unboxing. So here's the external antenna. It's probably about 25 feet with the appropriate plug, and you probably don't want to use this inside your house because it's going to pick up all kinds of RF noise. And I say noise, you're trying to pick up RF when you listen to shortwave, but in this case it's going to be noise. So can't really use these inside unless you got a really quiet RF house, which most houses are not. But you can use this outside, similar to my fishing pole setup video I did, where I used the reel type, the REEL type from Sangean, which is basically the same thing as this, except this is on a reel to wind it up, make it more convenient. So you get this, about to lose track, and you get a pair of inexpensive earbuds. Typically they're okay for listening to shortwave, but not so good for music on FM. So get those. And this is what caught this is what caught my eye on the ad for this particular radio, which is again the Pl-606, is this weird looking antenna. And we're going to get into this in a minute. And I just took it out of the bag, so I don't know what the heck this thing is. I don't even know how you hook it up, but we're going to see. It's supposed to help shortwave reception. Again, probably won't work too good inside the house. And the fact that these are portable. Look how small this thing is. Carry in your hand. These are for outside or away from your house, at least. You know, maybe you're in a cabin out in the woods and you don't have any power, and so you can listen to a radio inside. So I'm interested to find out what this is, and it comes with this radio. I've never seen this kind of thing with any other radio. So we're going to see. We're going to see. If I don't put you to sleep first. Okay, so functions. Let's look at this radio. Number one, let me zoom in here for a second. Sure need a camera, man. Okay. It's got all these buttons here, almost arranged in a numeric keypad form, but that's not what it is. Now, this is where I can use the 380 to illustrate something. Okay, the 380 has more buttons, and these buttons here, many of them are dual function, but they're also a numeric keypad, because on this radio, the PL380, you can enter frequencies directly using this keypad. Now, back to the 660. You can't. There's no direct entry of frequencies. And I'll talk a little bit about how I get around that. Okay. Let's just go around the radio and try kicking the camera again and see what we got. Okay. Do I dare zoom in more? Yeah, zoom in more. I don't know if you can read these things or not. Probably not. My camera's not that good. And oh, by the way, warning, it's going to be a long video. I'm sorry. Okay. It's AM, FM, shortwave. I thought it was long wave. That's interesting. It doesn't say long wave down here in the description. I thought it was long wave. Let me look that up for a second. Again, I'm just learning. Yes, long wave. And the shortwave band is 2.3 megahertz to 21.95 megahertz. That's the shortwave band. Okay. So much for that. Okay, so that's the bands it covers: AM, FM, long wave, shortwave. The buttons going down here is, this first button is for time, I guess for either setting the time or displaying the time. The radio's off right now, so it's displaying the time. It looks like it has 2 time zones, and it's not. I haven't set the time, so it's not 3 o'clock in the morning. It's actually, for a reference, it's 7:23 in the morning in Florida. Okay, the next one is alarms, or setting alarms and turning them off and on. The next one is for the bandwidth, and to, when you're in stereo band, to select FM stereo. That's what that one is. Going over here, this is the display button and the lock button to lock the keyboard so that you don't accidentally change something. And this display button will allow you to display different things on the display here. The next one is the memory button for either storing in memory or accessing memory. The next one is the delete key for deleting a memory location, and it also has the function of changing the increment for shortwave from 9 to 10 kilohertz, depending on whether you're in the US or otherwise. Okay, then the next button is a dual button again. It's for turning the backlight on and for selecting the ETM function. And I'll get into the ETM function later. And then you have the next button is for variable frequency, so you can tune manually through the frequencies. And the next one is through, you can select to tune through the memories. And it also has the second function of telling you the battery condition. I'm assuming, I'm just reading these off. And then the big button here is the power button. Then you have the medium wave band selection, the FM band selection, and the shortwave up or shortwave down. And then these also serve the function, if you push and hold, of the ATS function, the automatic tuning and store function. So this radio, and like I say, brand new, you can get this right now on Amazon for about $40. So it gives you all those features for $40 and all those bands for $40. Now let's kind of look around the radio, see what we have for connections. Okay, here we have the top connection here, which I have hidden for you, is for the FM and shortwave antenna. So you can have an external antenna a la the one that they gave you, or if you already have one set up outside your house that you bring in, you can use that. Now, let's for comparison, we'll go over to the more expensive PL380, and it does not have, if I get it in the camera, I can show you, it does not have external antenna connection. That's kind of bizarre. I would assume, and I could be wrong here, the 660 came out before the 380. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm just assuming that based on the, well, maybe not. But it's, what I'm trying to say is, I'm surprised that the 330, excuse me, the 380, with all its functions, it has all the functions that the 606 has, plus, for instance, direct entry. It does not have an external antenna connection. Nowhere. So, that's a plus for this little guy. Also, over here we have the Headphone Jacks and the AC adapter, or DC adapter, whichever I call it, because this is a micro USB adapter, which the 380 also has. So you can use that for charging batteries if you have rechargeable batteries, and you possibly can run the radio on that. I haven't tested it. I just taken this out of the box, so I don't know. We'll see. And I will do some more videos on actually using this radio, just besides the one where I sit here and ramble. Okay? I don't lose my voice. So let's look at the display. Nice big numbers there. Easy to read display. Excuse It's early in the morning. My sinuses are clearing. I'm sorry. So let me back up here. Okay, so there's the size of it. It fits right in your hand. Very convenient for taking with you to the park, to a little cabin in the woods, camping, whatever. But like I say, even though it's pretty small, the display is pretty big. It does have an amber backlight. I think it's amber, maybe. Turn some lights off here, maybe you can see it. Let me push the button again. Yeah, it has an amber backlight, which doesn't show up very good in the daylight, even when I turn the lights off in my room. And I haven't figured out, with my little time that I've used this, how to turn it on and keep it on. You know, that's one of my pet peeves. I know it eats batteries, but I like to be able to turn the display on and leave it on. Now, of course, this radio, when you use most of the functions, it will turn the light on automatically. So that's not a big deal. I just like to, like for instance, if you were using the scan mode, I don't think that the light will stay on. So we have to look into that. Okay, moving right along. So it's got a nice dull finish, so it doesn't show fingerprints. It uses 2 AA batteries, so very standard. It does have a kickstand, which I always like to have radios with kickstands, so I can set it on my desk or a bench, a table at the park, and be able to read it instead of, because typically these radios have kind of top heavy and they'll fall over, so you'd want to use the kickstand. Now the question is, when you have a kickstand, when you put it back on its kickstand, you want a swivel antenna so that you can have the antenna come straight up from the radio. Let's see if this has it. Okay, so we'll pull the external shortwave antenna up. There it is. So you can have the antenna be vertical when it's standing straight up. But the question is, can I bend it over, turn it, and have it be totally vertical when it's on the kickstand? The answer is no. It's maybe 60 degrees instead of 90. So not a big deal, but typically you'd want to have that antenna straight vertical. Typical. Whether it makes a big difference or not in reception, I don't know. Let's just try this guy, the 380. Nope. It doesn't extend so that you can get it past the cover here. So suffers from the same problem. Not a big deal. Yeah, I get picky sometimes about radios. Okay. Now, functions. It does have the ETM function, which is when you push and hold that button, whatever band you are in, it will scan that band, and if it finds a strong signal, be it noise or station, it will store that in temporary memory as opposed to non-temporary. It's not permanent memory, but in other words, every time you do an ETM scan, it writes over whatever you have in that section of memory. I think it's 100 memory locations. Unlike the other memory locations that you can either put in manually or use the ATS function, those will not be touched when you use the ETM, which to me, Tecsun has that feature, and to me that's a great feature over other brands of shortwave radios. In that you can have that temporary storage, automatic tuning and temporary storage, and then you can have your separate memory storage. I like that feature because some radios that have memory and have that kind of function, they wipe out what you've already stored. Not good. Okay. So it has the ETM function and it has the ATM function. And the difference being ETM gets stored in temporary memory locations and ATS gets stored in what I call permanent, although they're not permanent. You can delete them or erase them or write over them, whatever. So not really permanent. Anyway, so let's. I got the manual printed out here. See the manual? Okay. What I do is here's the manual that comes with the radio, similar to the. I mean, even the big E10 radios have these little tiny manuals, and to me, it's very inconvenient. You can read it, you know. Even an old fart like me can read it, but you know, if I want to put notes on it, there's just not much room. So what I typically do is I go online and search for this manual, and usually Tecsun has them on their website, and I print them out. And now I got them on, you know, nice big print. Plus, I got plenty of room to write things, notes and stuff. So that's what I typically do. So let's just kind of glance through the manual. Let me back up here a little bit on the camera. Okay. And first it talks about ETM tuning. And it says, it temporarily stores into the ETM memory, not the regular 550 memory locations. So this thing has, this little baby has 550 memory locations besides the ETM. Now, does it say? It doesn't even tell you how many ETM locations it has. I'm guessing 100. That's what I'm guessing. So let's just try for the heck of it, even though we're really in a noisy environment. Well, let me try my external antenna. I have an external antenna, my G5RV, on a switch, and one side of the switch is connected to this kind of connector, which if I look at this guy, guess what? It's whoops. Let me get it out of the bag so you can see it. Now, here's one thing I ran into on a couple of radios ago, is the newer radios don't use a mono plug for their headphones. Jeez, headphones. God, what's the matter with me? Okay, forget that. Erase. Here is the external antenna, and it is a mono plug. So therefore, my adapter for my G5 RV antenna should work. Let's just see if we can reach it over here, plug it in. There we go. And we'll turn the radio on. Where's the on button? Right here. I say I'll turn the radio on. There we go. And I'm going to, although you can't see it very well, let's see if I can zoom in for a second to move the camera so you can see the radio. My lighting is pretty terrible. And I'm on the shortwave band, so I'm going to push and hold the ETM function. There we go. And there it goes. It's now scanning. Let me see if that light stays on. The backlight is on right now, and it's scanning through the shortwave band, 2.3 megahertz to whatever I said, 23, 21 megahertz. It's scanning through that at 5 kilohertz steps. And so far it's found 8 signals that were strong. Could be noise. It's up to 5.8 megahertz. I wish my lighting was a little better. Maybe if I actually turn it off. Yeah, that shows up a little better. And the backlight is staying on. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. God, we're up to 24 minutes. I told you it was going to be a long video. It's going to take me about 8 hours to upload to YouTube. And like I say, right now I'm using the ETM, what the heck do they call it? Easy tuning mode. This is, I think this is unique to Tecsun radios. Other radios have similar modes, but they don't call it ETM. And it may not work the same. So we're up to, and again, it's 7:38 in the morning here in Florida. So I probably won't get anything on the upper bands. Oh, I got 61 hits already. Probably noise. You never know. Now we may get past 100, and I was thinking that the max is 100. We're up to 71, we're up to 15 megahertz. I do like it, the fact that the backlight stayed on, so I can see the progress of the scan. Do-da, do-da-day. $79, we're up to 17 megahertz. We may hit 100. And what it does, if the limit is 100, it'll stop there and won't scan the rest of the band. I think it's going to make it though. It's up to 21. And like I said, for this mode, every time you use that ETM function, whatever's been saved is gone. It gets wiped out entirely. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Turn the volume up a little bit. Something there, but pretty noisy. Okay, now we're stepping through the memory, ETM memory. Got some signals in there, kind of weak. There's a loud one. I'm going to go through these quickly because I'm using up a lot of time already. That's probably out of Tennessee. Right? Oh, WWV on 5 megahertz. It's a little noisy, a little scratchy. Spanish-speaking station, probably local.
Call 800.
A lot of stations.
The night something happens that he never ever dreamed.
It's probably out of Tennessee. Spanish station. Okay, I just wanted to show you that. I'm not really doing a reception test, so I just wanted to show you that ETM function if you're not familiar with it. And then on top of that is the ATS function. Let me unplug this thing temporarily, set this radio down. Let me look at the description they call out in the manual. Where is it? Thank you for the weather report. Okay. It says there are a total of 550 preset memory locations in this unit. Preset? I don't know what I call it. Preset. And the 250 of those are for the shortwave band. And I can't really find a definition of ATS, but I know the definition is automatic tuning storage. That's what it's called. And the way that works is basically the same as the other function, except you use the buttons over here. And I know on one of my other Tecsun radios, the 660, let me zoom in here for a microsecond. Oh, I am zoomed in. It's just, let me turn the light back on so I can see the display maybe. There we go, that helps. For shortwave, there's an up arrow and a down arrow. And I know on the 660, one of them is, if you use one of them, it only scans the international band that you start in. So if you're on the 31 meter band, it only it only searches and stores in stations in that band. If you push the other one, up arrow or down arrow, it goes through the entire shortwave band. And the one that does just one international band, I think it takes the next available memory location. It doesn't erase everything like the other function does. Let me see if I can find that definition, or in the manual. Let's see. Oops, I passed it. Yes, same here. It says in shortwave ATS, there are two modes of tuning. Mode A, press and hold the down arrow to ATS, automatic tune and store, the stations within all meter bands. Okay, so it's not the entire shortwave band, it's all meter bands. The mode B is to press and hold the up arrow, and it will scan stations within the present meter band. Now, notes: during the ATS process in FM, medium wave, long wave, or shortwave A, so it's only shortwave A, which is scan all meter bands, pre-selected stations will be replaced automatically by new search stations. Now, I don't know if that means that it will start at memory location 1 and start overriding them, and if it only finds, say, 20 and you had 40 before, the other 20 are still there, or if it erases them all. Next note: with ATS in shortwave mode B, that's just scanning within 1 meter band, those existing memories will not be replaced. All newly found radio stations will be stored in blank memory locations. Well, what if you don't have any blank ones? I don't know. Note 3: if there are too many interferences in your surrounding or many minor blank stations being stored during ATS, you should contract the telescopic antenna. You should contract. I don't know if you can see this or not. Isn't that word contract? I don't. It's too early in the morning for me. So anyway, so you can use those two functions to have it find stations for you. Or you can take it and put it in, I think it's still in memory mode right now, put it in variable frequency. That button, there you go. That button right there. And now it's set up for manual tuning. Oh, I lied, that didn't work. Okay, I had to hit variable memory tuning and then hit variable frequency. I don't know why, but I did. So now it's tuning manually. And from what I read in the documentation, there's no button to select whether you're tuning in the fast mode in relation to shortwave, that's 5 kilohertz increments, or the slow mode, which is 1 kilohertz increment. It says it depends on how fast you turn the tuning wheel, whether it's tuning in the fast mode or slow mode. So right now, I'm turning it real slow, and it's tuning at 1 kilohertz. Now, okay. Yeah, okay. I saw it jump there to 5 kilohertz. To me, I want a button to select fine or slow. I don't want this automatic tuning increment to change by how fast I happen to push this, rotate this button. So I don't like that. Let me go back. I don't think. No, I don't recall, but I think it's the same on the 380. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a message. Leave a comment if I'm wrong. But I see no way of selecting the tuning rate as far as fast or slow. So I'm thinking this radio works the same way as the 660 as far as selecting tuning rates. Now, as I said at the very beginning, for $15 more, the 380 has a manual direct tuning keypad. Very useful if you know what frequencies you want to try, and you want to try, like I go on to shortwave.info and find out what stations are on, and I just push in and direct tune those stations. Now, what I do on radios that don't have a direct tuning keypad, and they do have memory, this one that says it has 250 memory locations for just the shortwave band. Well, I'll never use that many locations. So what I do is I put in at the top end, I'll put in like 10 frequencies spaced out so that I can use those to jump around. And then once I get to, say I wanted to get to 10 megahertz, and say I've got stored in those upper memory channels, I've got 3 megahertz, 4 megahertz, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so on up. Then I can use those to jump around, so I could use the one and find 10 megahertz, and I'd be there instantly. And then say I wanted to tune somewhere between 9 and 10 megahertz, like 9.470. I could either use the 9 megahertz memory location or the 10, and then go back to variable tuning and tune up and down. So that's how I kind of get around the fact that some radios don't have that numeric keypad. So I'm up to almost 40 minutes. Oh my God. Yeah, I'll probably put everybody to sleep. Anyway, so just a quick look at this new radio for me. It's not a new radio on the market. It's the Pl-606. The reports I've read is it's a very good receiver, but it does have a couple of missing functions. The big one being no direct keypad like the PL380. And this is 40. Let me back up here and get them both in the screen here. This, which is a 660, right now you can get on Amazon brand new for $40. This is the PL380. You can get on Amazon right now for $55. So do you want to spend the other $15? I think they're basically the same as far as reception. And I'm pretty sure the bands, the bands are the same. So that's the big difference that I see just offhand. So anyway, that's the show. I'm sorry it's so long. Again, I just thought I'd try a different approach to showing you a new radio. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed this video, please share. Bye-bye. 40 minutes. It'll take